Hi everyone, we're back with Peggy Kraus, and we asked you for your questions, and Peggy is here to give you answers. So, yes. Hello again, Peg.
Hello.
So the first question we have from Anne is, what is your favorite plant-based cookbook?
Ooh, there's two that I like.
Yeah.
It's the original China Study Cookbook, and I like the Forks Over Knives Cookbook.
I love that one.
Yeah. I have to say that the guidebook and the
Jumpstart Guide have great recipes.
Great recipes.
I completely agree. So take the Wellness Challenge 360 and you'll get great recipes.
Exactly.
Okay, number 2. What are some oil substitutes that I can use for salad dressing? That's a good question. And I know that's from Megan.
That's great. There's lots of things you can use. You know, it doesn't have to be like a slippery liquid something on your salad. It could be, you could throw, sometimes I use just a couple of toasted pecans, or I'll put some roasted corn on there, warmed up. You could use some lemon juice, salsa, guacamole. But I like to think of it like, what could I put my salad under? So I put soup on top of it, I put it under chili, I put it under, the potato salad, I put it under a lot of things.
Yeah.
So it's a different way to shift to think about it, so that I'm not so focused on, the salad dressing.
Right, or balsamic gives it great flavor.
That's true. And there's so many different flavors of balsamic.
So, what is a good protein-filled snack to have after weightlifting? That's a good question. What's good after a workout?
Yeah, after a workout. So it's a good idea to remember that all whole natural plant foods have protein in them. So to go out of your way just to get protein is not really necessary. But probably whole and intact grains are a great source of protein because they're also rich in carbohydrates. So that is quinoa and brown rice and sorghum and millet and barley and
lentils
and beans and lentils are great as well because they're also high in carbohydrates as well as high in protein, and they're not high in fats. If you use a food like nuts, that's very high in fat, so your stomach doesn't digest it very quickly. It's going to take 6 to 8 hours for it to leave the stomach, and you need to get those carbohydrates to the muscles to replenish the glycogen stores. So while the protein's important, we do need some extra protein to rebuild muscle, but the carbohydrate is important as well.
Got it. So making like quinoa bowl with veggies or something like that, just something to eat after.
Exactly.
A lentil bowl. So any advice for people with kidney issues? What can you say about kidney issues?
Yeah, so kidney issues, there's more people that have it than know they have it. Kidney issues with the tests that we have to test for kidney issues don't even tell you that you have kidney damage until you're well into it.
Oh, I see. So if you're just at the beginning stages, it's very hard to tell.
Exactly. So the problem with the kidneys can be mainly one of two things. Maybe it's insulin resistance, or it's actual damage to the kidney, the filtering mechanism. But when you eat a plant-based diet, it's high in fiber, it's low in fat. So if it's insulin resistance, you're storing too much fat in the kidney, and the low-fat diet is going to pull that fat right out of that kidney, and the fiber is going to sort of scrub out whatever's left. So you're going to restore that kidney because you're pulling out all that muck in there that's screwing up how it's working. So of course it's not going to work right if it's got to deal with all this fat that the body's deposited there. So that's one issue. Then you've got renal failure, or renal disease, which is kidney disease, when the filtering mechanism fails or is starting to fail because you've eaten too much protein, and
animal protein, for example.
Yeah, animal protein, for example, exactly. And when we eat too much animal protein, the nitrogen that's attached to the protein molecules has to be filtered out. So all that repetitive filtering damages the kidney. If we can give the kidney a rest by not bombarding it with all this animal protein, then it can rest and we can recover, and you can pick up at a higher kidney function than you were.
Great. So plant-based diet, great for kidney issues.
Exactly. Low in fat, high in fiber.
So our last question, Peggy, it's actually kind of two questions. The first one is, how do I make sure that I'm going to feel full on my plant-based path? So we'll start with that one. The second one is how to curb cravings for the wrong food. So how do you feel full? If you're used to like loading up on animal products and that makes you feel full for whatever, sweets, like how do you feel full?
Why people fail on this diet is because they're hungry and they're not satisfied. So it's important that you fill your belly till you're full. You don't have to be gorged, uncomfortable full, but you want to be satisfied. And then you can push yourself away from the table and go about your business. If you feel hungry within an hour or two, that's not real hunger. That's we call that toxic hunger. That's probably more of like a detox sensation than true hunger. True hunger is when your body actually needs calories, and that happens, 4, 5, 6 hours after you've had a good meal. So if you're full, that's a good thing. But if you feel nothing, that is a good thing too. So don't rush into eating something if you're not feeling that sensation that comes 4, 5, 6 hours after you've eaten.
Yeah.
But it's true that if you're eating a salad and that you know that is not usually going to do it for you, add some beans, add a little bit of guacamole.
Yeah.
Maybe you need some spices in there to satisfy, make it a little more savory.
And how do you curb cravings for the wrong foods?
I think again, there's a little bit of a mindset there, but you might have to stay away from foods that trigger that feeling that you want something. For instance, sugar. Sugar is known, if you eat sugar, that
you want more.
You want more, exactly. Same as coffee or alcohol. They might not trigger your desire to eat food, but they might, like alcohol triggers or lets down your guard so that you might eat more. So you think that you really want it, but there's something else going on inside. Fats, sugar, caffeine, chocolate,
salt.
So there's
It's all very addictive.
Yeah, exactly. So you might be, but if you know that you can't manage it, if it's going to draw you back to the chips, the bag of chips or whatever it is, even if they're sort of plant-based and not junky chips, you might need to just leave them out of your diet.
Yeah.
Because if you can't manage them, better abstaining is the way to go.
Yeah, I try to not have them in my house, but then if you have other people that you're living with that like things like that, it's very challenging.
Sometimes it gets difficult, but sometimes also if you are disciplined and you remember that eating those foods makes you not feel well, it's a little easier to...
Keeping those goals in mind, how it's like such a momentary taste versus you want to be healthier or you want to lose weight or whatever it is, so you kind of just try to keep that in mind, and also knowing that if you slip you can come right back.
That's a good point.
We don't have to be perfect.
That's a good point. We all have our weaknesses,
Mm-hmm.
and getting right back on track when we can is really is the key there.
It's true, because maybe lastly, I'll ask you, I have such a sweet tooth. So how have you helped people with sweet tooths in the past?
You can start with substituting.
Yeah.
You can, of course, fruit is the ideal.
Fruit really helps, I have to say.
It does. And if you really need something sweet, you can mash up your fruit and mash some dates, some raisins, some figs.
And then heat it with cinnamon, right? And make it really...
Yeah, and if you need to put a little bit of maple syrup in there, that's not the worst thing.
Yeah.
So yes,
the food has to be delicious and satisfying, and it is.
And it really is.
Yeah, there's so many great things to eat and recipes out there, so you don't have to be in this bland world Some people think it's a bland world, but it's the opposite.
Oh, exactly. You know, good food is good
Multicolored.
food.
Yeah.
Even if it's animal food or if it's plant food, if it's good,
Yeah.
you know, you might as well eat the stuff that's good for you.
Yes, and live a long time and lose
Yes.
weight and feel great.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you, Peggy. It's
You're
so
welcome.
nice to have answers to some of these really important questions. We'll do another one of these soon.
I look forward to it. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Peggy.